Hey, welcome back guys to Intermediate JavaScript and jQuery programming with JSON and Ajax. My name is Kaustubh Ghadge, but you can call me KG. I will be covering session 6 of this Intermediate JavaScript course today. Before we begin, let's look at the session outline. So in this session, we'll be covering jQuery effects. jQuery allows us to add effects on a web page. It provides us many methods for effects on the web page. jQuery effects can be categorized into fading, sliding, hiding, or showing, and also the animation effects. In fact, we're going to see sliding effect into action right now in this session. We're also going to be covering the sliding effect with the login slider. We're going to see how we can implement the sliding effect for a login form. We'll also cover some animations using jQuery. More specifically, we'll be looking at the animate function. We'll see how to wait for an effect to be completed and then perform an action after using the callback function. All right, moving on. If you do not have fundamentals of JavaScript programming clear, then you must take the Introduction to JavaScript course as well as HTML to understand the document object model. All right, jQuery effects. So one of the best features of jQuery is its ability to add effects to our web page. Have you come across a website wherein there is a whole lot of interactivity and the web page objects are animated? Chances are they are built using jQuery. So let's look at a demo example of such effects real quick. So we'll look at an example for login slider. Okay, so let me go to the code. So in here I have 3 files. I have created the basic index.html. I have all my jQuery written in the JS file, and I have the styles for my login page in my styles.css. Okay, so what I have here is, if you look at the body element, let me make this a bit better. Okay, so if you can see here, I have a basic login form with input boxes for username and password. You want to make sure that this form is hidden by default and only visible when the user wants to log in. So if you look at the code where the login button is, oops, all right, here we go. All right, so if you look at the code where the login button is, we want the form to slide when the user clicks on the button. So jQuery provides us with a slide toggle method for the sliding effect. So on the button click event, we are going to use the slide panel div to slide down. So the slide panel div I have written right here. We want this to slide down when this button right here is clicked. Okay. So on the button click event, we will push the slide panel div to slide down. The value inside the slide toggle. So let me go inside the slide toggle and explain that function right here real quick. All right, so what will happen is, when I click on the button, I'm going to select the slide panel div and I'm going to attach a slide toggle function. The function usually takes in the speed, so this is denoting the speed right here. And if a function where say this slide down is complete, you can ignore this for now, just for now. But the main thing that we wanna put here is the speed. Okay. The value inside the slide toggle denotes the speed of the toggle. In this case, it is slow. So let us quickly save this and run this. Oops. Let me quickly run this and see how this looks. All right, so I have the login button right here. And if I click on it, it is going to slide down. It is going to give me options for the username and password and all of the other things that are required for a login form. So if you notice, the transition here is a bit slow, okay, because we have added the speed to slow. So let's say if we set it to fast and we save this, see it's loading fast. All right, great. Now let's move on to the next slide. Animations. So we can create custom animation effects using jQuery. The animate function allows us to do so. So let's look at a demo code real quick. Let me close this. All right, great. So in here we have basic boilerplate HTML, which contains a simple div. So we have a simple orange div. Let me toggle the word wrap. Right. I have a simple div with a background of orange, and I have certain properties for it, and the position is absolute. So what we want to do is, let me quickly run this. So what we want to do is when we click on this, I want this to be I want to animate and move this div right in the center here and make it a bit bigger. Okay, I want it to transform. So if you go back here, what I'm doing is when I on the click event, okay, so when the div is clicked, I'm adding an animate function and providing it the properties. Okay, so once I provide the properties, I'm also giving it a speed of how fast the transition should be, or the transformation should be. And let's see by clicking on it how it looks. All right, perfect. You see the div size has increased and the location has shifted to right. Let's watch this again. All right, perfect. So you can do all kinds of custom animations using jQuery. I strongly encourage you to check the jQuery documentation to see all the possibilities that can be achieved using this. Since we won't have time to cover all of the possible combinations. So I strongly encourage you to check the documentation. Moving on to the next slide. So performing an action after the effect is complete. This is particularly important if you want to execute some action right after the effect has been completed. So for example, if you want to raise a pop-up window after animation is completed or activated, or show page elements after an effect is complete. So the way we solve this is we have to use something called a callback function, which will be executed right after the effect is completed. So let's see this in action by editing our login panel code. So if you remember, I commented out this section right here. So what this is a callback function. Okay, and right after the speed here, let me make it scale again. All right, and we have a log inside. We have a console.log inside the callback function. So let me quickly run this. I have to select this HTML. Open up the apply server. All right, let me open up the inspect. I select the log. Select the console, and now if I click on this, and once the animation is completed, it logged it out. Let's look at this again. It logged it out again, right? So this is particularly important once this is logged out. But let's say the best example of in this case scenario is that, let's say if you want to black out the login button, okay, unless and until this form is shown, we have to hide this button. Right? So we can make that button active when the slide effect animation is completed. Right? Perfect. Moving on. Right. Recap. We learned about how to add effects to our HTML page and use jQuery to make the web page interactive and thus aesthetically pleasing and increasing the user experience. So that's it for today. I'll see you in the next session. Take care. Bye-bye.